in Kitely, do say to me, Lynn, stop screaming, stop streaming. But the interesting thing was it streams, Skype streams, and it streams fine. Oh, April's getting her messages and her prize. I hope she hasn't already got the prize, but she's just logged in. She won the prize for telling me who created or who built the Citadel, this sim, because there are some clues.
There was a prize involved?
There was a prize, yeah. I did say last week there was a prize, yes. But she sent it to me and I said, okay, that's it, you win the prize. It's only a...
No, I didn't hear that part.
It's only... Oh, sorry. So let's see if they can find their way to us. Probably April's going, what's all this? What's all this? It's only a freebie prize. It's nothing, I mean, it's a prize. It's a prize. But I don't think she'll have it already. She might have. Hello, April. Did you get your prize?
I've just seen it.
Yay! Monique's a bit peeved because she didn't realise there was a prize.
Hey.
No, maybe I didn't. Actually, I think that I didn't hear the question or the... Yeah, no, maybe I wasn't here.
You can never...
No, you were here. I'm sure you were here. Monique was here last week, wasn't she?
You were here.
But I have to... Yeah, but I have to leave.
Oh, you can always watch the replay. See if you missed anything, or if we talked about you when you'd gone. Hi, Shiny! Shiny's come to shine. Hello, Shiny. How are you? So I'd better just make sure nobody else is online. Selby won't want to join us. That's fine. I'm just going to go to my... just see who's in world. Go Shiny, April, Monique, Traum. Good. Nobody's lost in the academy. That's good to know. Okay, I've got a little poem for us to read today, believe it or not, which is fun, I think. Okay, and it's licensed Creative Commons. And it's kind of related to Valentine's Day a little bit. Oh, my notepad's gone all weird since this morning's session. I used it to...
So now you have to make a close-up on me.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh,
hang on. I'm in the wrong window. Let's have a look. Oh, very nice. Ah, lovely, with the earrings too. And the bracelet. Oh, it matches your outfit beautifully. Yay!
Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome. So, Shiny, can you hear us? And can we hear you? Excellent. Good. Can we hear you? Oh, Tram, spring is not around. It is so cold here. It's freezing. You can't say spring's around. Sorry, I think I interrupted you, Shiny. Do you want to just say something again, quickly?
Hi.
Hi. Good, I can hear you. Excellent. Now, just to recap, last week we read a little bit about chivalry, yeah, and the age of chivalry, yes? So I went scooting off to try and find something that we could read about the age of chivalry that wasn't too heavy this week. And I found this poem. So if you're all okay with it, we can read the poem together. It's called The Age of Chivalry. It's under Creative Commons, and it says it's from somebody... it was written in Cairo by somebody calling themselves 22 for the magazine for the Anzacs in the Middle East, which basically means it was a magazine for troops, Anzac troops, okay? Quite often the army, different branches of the forces, the armed forces, would have their own little newspapers and their own little magazines, Okay. And this is a poem that a soldier who wanted to be known as 22, I don't know why, but wrote for this particular magazine. Okay.
Okay.
And it's called The Age of Chivalry. So, let me see who came in first. I think the first person to arrive was Traum. So I'll just do the reading list. But you're all okay with this concept, the term Age of Chivalry, yes? Yeah, good. And yes, it's kind of difficult because you think, oh, is it dead? The Age of Chivalry, is it dead? Okay, so Traum, would you like to start reading the first verse, okay?
Ja, ja, nee, it's okay, okay. The poet mocked his padded brow and waved an inky hand. I long, he said, to leave the town and wander through the land. I am tired of crowded city streets. I would I were a brave, okay, and hardy old adventurer. The open road I crave.
Very good.
Sorry about my mistake. Between brave and M, do I have a line? It's empty. Brave, and then it comes the next line. So
Yep.
I was a bit confused.
So basically, remember this is a poem, yeah? So what the writer is actually saying is this: I would I were a brave and hardy old adventurer. Yeah? But the rhythm forces you to say, I would I were a brave and hardy old adventurer, the open road I crave, because of the rhythm.
No, it's not a limerick. A limerick, sorry. Limerick.
It's not really a limerick. Limericks are specifically. Actually, I think that sounds more like a Tigger song. There was an old lady. I don't know. There was an old man from somewhere who with a something. So it's more. This all poetry, especially rhyming poetry, has a rhythm, and this rhythm, you could, by just looking at the words without reading them, you could think the poet, so that's da da da, mopped his heated brow, da 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 da. You can do that with any poem, should you wish to.
That was clear.
Well,
Fair enough.
If you, in other words, Lynn, stop now. But if you listen to my da-da-da-das and you know your syllables, you'd be able to follow the poem. You'd know exactly where I was up to. Okay? And when you're writing poetry, not all poetry, not all prose has regular rhythm, but this one does. Okay? Okay, so let's have a look. First of all, it's poetry. So, who writes poetry? A poet. A poet wrote this. Poet. Try it. Try.
A poet.
Poet.
A
That's
poet.
it. Good. And then he's in a hot lamp, so his brow is heated.
It has to do with heat.
Yes. As in
Aha.
his forehead, his brow was hot. He'd got a, oh, you know what it's like when it's really hot in the summer and you put your hand to your forehead and you think, oh, it's too hot.
And what does mean the mopped and inky?
Okay, he mopped his heated brow. He maybe had a handkerchief and he was wiping the sweat off his forehead. Okay, I don't know about you, but when I'm very hot, I sweat. So this poor guy is sweating and trying to keep the sweat from running into his eyes, maybe. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I see the movement. Mopping.
Yes, to mop a floor. Yes, when you've spilt water on the floor. If you remember when we were having our session on the dangers around the house, slippery floor, you have to mop it up. But you can mop any liquid. Quite often that idea of mopping somebody's brow to mop up the sweat from the brow. It's kind of romantic. If somebody's ill, for example, whilst hubby was ill, I've been rubbing Vic into his chest and mopping his brow. Oh. Okay. Oh, Moz is joining us. I'll see if I'll have to keep an eye open because he's relatively new. I'll send him a teleport. Okay, so heated is the word I want though. Heated, try.
Yes. Heated.
That's it. And the next one, which also has an ed ending, but it is a silent e. Tired. If you're tired.
Uh-huh. Oh yes, of course. I should know this. I am tired.
I'm tired of English pronunciation. Hello, Mars. Nice to see you.
But anyway, Lynn, what does mean an inky hand? Inky.
Okay, I'm not going to answer that one because you said what does mean. What does
inky hand mean?
Thank you. He's a poet. He's a poet. He writes. And what do you use to write?
A biro nowadays.
Nowadays, but in the past, or even today, because you can still buy them, an ink pen. And writers were famous for having inky fingers, as in the pen would leak onto their fingers, it would stain their fingers. Yeah, dirty with ink, or covered in ink, I'd say, rather than dirty of ink, April. Covered in ink. Well, hello, Moz. Why don't you sit down and get comfortable? Moz, you're just sat on Shiny. Shiny does not look impressed. I'm streaming this, by the way, guys. Moz,
It looks
no good
almost
trying
like
to
a
look. Oh no,
proposal or
don't do
something.
that. You're now typing on Tiny's boobs, okay? I'm still loading. That's not all you're doing, Moz, okay? I love virtual worlds. It's great. Okay, Moz, click on stand.
You have to screen. You have to screen the recording, Lynn.
I will do. Yeah, just click stand up. Stand up. Click on stand, Moz. That's it. Yeah. Okay. That's better. Okay. That's safer. That's safer. But I will be streaming that definitely. I should do a whole I don't know, like outtakes, shouldn't I? Of sessions. Yeah. Okay. Exactly, Traum. And that's what poetry can do. That's what literature can do. It paints pictures into your mind. Okay. So the poet mopped his heated brow and waved an inky hand. I long, he said, to leave the town and wander through the land. I'm tired of crowded city streets. I would I were a brave and hardy old adventurer. The open road I crave. So how's he feeling, the poet?
He is tired
Yep.
and he's tired of people.
Desperates. April's got as well. He's tired, sick and tired of people. We often say, I'm sick and tired of everything. Yeah, I'm oh so sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of always feeling sick and tired. Okay.
And
So,
always to see the same streets, that makes him bored. And he wants to be an adventurer who wants to see lots of things in the world.
yeah, there's one word I would use here. He sounds very weary. Weary of life. Weary of the day-to-day existence. He wants a bit of adventure in his life. Have any of you ever felt like that? Oh, I wish I was anywhere but here. Yeah. Sure. Never. Hey, April. That's great. You're lucky. You're very lucky.
Yeah, why should I? It is only painful for yourself. So why should I?
Well, that's like saying to somebody, why get depressed? It's, some people just are dissatisfied. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I mean, even the most privileged person can become dissatisfied with life, with the idea that they're never.
But I think that's normal. I mean,
Yep.
it's not about just still being dead or something like that, but you got tired at some point. I mean, it happens from time to time. But
Not to April.
I think it's yeah, but no, I understand. But in my opinion, or in my case, yeah, it happens. Oh my gosh, I really want just to, I don't know, wake up maybe in the Buckingham Palace or something like that. Because my mother
I can think of nicer
used to say
places
that,
than that old dump.
Because my mother, she used to say that, so it's in my mind.
Oh no.
But yeah, but I think this is sometimes it's not a depression, because that would be hard, but it's just like a state of mind, and yeah, just maybe after 1 hour you are all right. I mean, you are okay again. So
Yeah,
it's more
as
like
you say,
this. I
not
don't know,
depression.
at least for me.
As you say, not depression, but just feeling fed up.
Exactly.
Yeah, fed up is not depression. It's just not being happy with things the way they are, wanting something to change, anything sometimes. We always say be careful what you wish for. Traum, you often think about being in Croatia swimming, yeah? Oh, lovely. I could go there as well, especially in the winter, yes? Huh? Now, you'll notice one thing that this poet writes is he uses the modal verb I would. Now this is literary. I would I were a brave and hardy old adventurer. It's the same as saying I wish, but it's a bit old-fashioned. Yeah, I would I were. I wish I was. Okay, so it's literary English. Bit
And when he
old-fashioned.
says, yeah, and when he says old, then I don't think he wants to be old. He wants to be a well-experienced adventurer.
Oh yes. And the open road, everybody clear on what the open road implies?
A motorway?
Could be. Okay, let me just stand up. Okay.
Without any limits, maybe.
Yeah, look, here I am on the road. Now, there's a road. I could go this way. I could go that way. I could turn right, or I could turn left. There's nothing to stop me. It's not a motorway. It's just the possibility of travelling without any barriers, without borders, the open life on the open road. Sounds romantic, but it can also be very cold, hungry, thirsty. Sometimes people talk about a life on the open waves. What do you think that might be? Oh, a life on the open waves, a home on the roaming deep. Any ideas?
Maybe you are a student or a pupil and they have lots of rules, maybe? And
Or you are waiting for something to happen?
Oh, this is interesting. No, it's freedom. It means going out to sea. A life on the open waves. The open road means you can travel anywhere on land. The open waves mean you can sail anywhere on sea. Yeah, a sailor. Well done. Shiny with an O. S-A-I-L-O-R. A sailor. Absolutely. I'm going to torture you now because this is one that I learnt. Okay. So you've got the open waves, you've got the open road. And the open air? A life in the open air? Flying maybe, yeah. But not necessarily flying, just living without being in a particular building. So life in the
Outdoor
open air.
life.
Outdoor life, that's it. I want to work in the open air. It doesn't mean I want to fly per se. It might involve flying. Can't get much more open than that. But it also means I don't want to work in an office. I want to work outside, out of doors, outdoors, yeah? Outdoors. So the open...
Not in the mall, Monique. Not
Oh
in
my
the
God,
mall.
like-
The bubble. Not open air.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good point, April. Okay, so next person to read.
Lynn, what
Yes?
is the difference between poetry and poem, actually?
Poetry is the sort of umbrella term for all poems. A poem, yeah? That's the noun for a single piece of poetry, okay?
I would say this is like the name of the subject, right? I mean, it's just like a
Well,
noun.
poetry is the umbrella term for all poems. Poems belong in poetry. You can study poetry, which means studying different poems. Like literature encompasses poetry and novels, literature, drama, stories, etc. So literature is an umbrella term that and then you get poetry, and within poetry you get poems and prose, etc.
And music, because Bob Dylan got
Yeah, that well, you know what that caused? A lot of
about
controversy.
literature.
But yeah, some of his music was poetry. Some of it was awful. I didn't like everything he ever did, but he was a wordsmith, so we can't. Yeah. So you've got, and the poet, of course, is the person who writes the poetry. Okay. So you wouldn't go to university to study poems. You'd go to university to study poetry, and probably you wouldn't even do that. You'd study literature, which would include poetry. Okay. And if something is like a poem, we call it poetic. Yeah, sonnets are poems. Yeah. So you've got sonnets. For example, what good old Shakespeare wrote. Oh, hang on, sorry. In the wrong window. Okay. Haiku as well. Do you know haiku, Shiny? Haiku? That's considered poetry. Different forms. Rhymes are poems, yeah, a rhyme.
Yeah, and the structure of all those rhymes, you know. I mean, you have to be careful with the number of words. And
Haiku's very restricted. You've
yeah,
even got
it's tricky.
truly to be a haiku. It's also got to be based on nature, although people stretch that now to include other things. But in the past, and some traditional haiku poets, if it's not about nature, it's not a haiku, no matter how many stanzas and lines you have. I mean, there are rules in poetry. We won't go too much into that today. That's a whole course. That's a whole course. But yes, you've got the different odes as well, the different genres of poetry as well. Lyrics are considered poems, but you wouldn't consider them in the same light as a sonnet, for example. Some are taken more seriously, some are lighter. Prose, speculative poetry. I mean, there's so many different types of poetry. You could do a whole... you can go to university for 4 years studying this stuff, okay? The name, you mean? The name of the poem. Well, as I say, quite often these things were written anonymously so as not to get into trouble with the powers that be, because sometimes they would write anti-war or something amusing about a major general or somebody in power. So quite often they would have what we call a pseudonym. Do you know what a pseudonym is?
Under another name.
It's a made-up name. Yeah.
Made-up name.
Some of us use pseudonyms. As you know, Lynn isn't my pseudonym. Your teacher's my pseudonym. I don't know. Shiny, I would presume it's a pseudonym. Traum, I know it's a pseudonym. April, I presume it's a pseudonym. I don't know. Monique, I don't think you use a pseudonym, but probably the men bit is a pseudonym. Moz, again, I don't know. Moz, whether it's your pseudonym or not. Okay? Traum, she didn't understand your question because you wrote... I'd like to know of the poet we're reading now. She didn't know the what of.
Name, sorry, I would like the name of the poet we are reading.
Well, his pseudonym I can give you. I can give you his pseudonym. His pseudonym is 22. Okay. So that doesn't help you. But that's the point of having a pseudonym. Okay, Monique, if there are no other questions, I think you've got a bit of a connection issue, Moz. Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
One, if you can hear me. Yeah, I think it's you, Moz. So you're breaking up. I can see your white dot appearing and disappearing. Make sure you've closed down any other computer programs and you're not streaming Netflix or on Skype or something. Okay? I'm afraid that's the only advice I can really give you. Just make sure you've got a nice... Preferably not on Wi-Fi. Wobbly interface for irritation, as I call it. Okay, Monique, are you okay to read?
Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. I would have lived in other times when chivalry held a sway. That I did lead a troop of horse with fluttering pennons gay. From north to south, from east to west, no limitations, no. I would have lived in other days, the days of long ago.
Very good, well done. And you notice this use of that I did, I would, I lived. Very, almost using that sort of way of speaking in olden times. forsooth, verily, that I did love her. I would I had met her as an uncouth youth, or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a poet. So, perfectly read. I'm not sure if you know what fluttering pennons gay are.
No, that's why I was like,
Yeah, okay, I gather you.
I had to stop. You know,
Yeah, I
did
know.
I say that right? You know?
What?
Yeah. No, I didn't get that.
Okay, pennon is a type of flag. Okay, it's a kind of flag. It's normally sort of triangular, but on its side. And they used to fly them or carry them at the front of the army. Okay, so it's also called a pennant. So it's wider against the flagpole, and then it narrows down to a point. A pennant. Yeah, well done.
Okay.
It's a kind of flag. Yes. I'm trying to find a picture of one that I can share with you, but so far no good. Pennant, pennant, pennant. Oh yeah, that's true. Wiki's just put pennant sports. Quite often you'll find this kind of flag at a sporting event. I guess they're cheaper to make than rectangular flags. It uses less material, maybe. So here you go. There's a pennant. I hope it'll work.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see it's like a triangle on its side.
And the other thing is that gay word as an adjective is not common. I mean, no, nowadays. I think so, right?
Unless it's talking about homosexuality. No, it's a little bit
Exactly.
specialist now. Yeah.
That's why.
What a gay
yeah.
day used to mean something different back in the day, even though Larry Grayson would say it, and he meant gay in that term, but nobody got it because they didn't realise he didn't mean jolly. It used to mean jolly. Gay colours, bright colours, okay? And you'll often find it in older literature, gay, and it doesn't mean homosexual.
Sure, of course.
Okay, so he says when... Oh, sorry, yes, April?
I didn't know that no and go has the same pronunciation. I thought that it was no and go. It's go, eh?
Go, yes. I know I should go. Not I knew I should go. Now, he says when chivalry held sway. What does he mean? What does he hope for? What does he think it was like these other times? What did he think chivalry did back then?
At control, I think.
Yes, if you the phrasal verb, one for you, April. I've got you down as my collector of phrasal verbs now. To hold sway. Okay. And if you hold sway, you can dominate or you can influence it. Okay, so the CEO of an organisation holds sway over the decisions the organisation makes, has control of. Hello, Aladdin. Hi. Stop laughing. Can you hear me, Aladdin? Aladdin. Hello. I'm not sure if Aladdin can hear us. Hi, Aladdin. Stop laughing. He's probably too busy laughing at me to speak. Okay, so any other questions about that verse? You all okay? Then let's move on. And April, it is your turn. And here's your text, okay, April?
Okay. But sad am I, the days, my friend, of chivalry are dead, and I'm forced to write my verse to earn my daily bread. I write my sonnets by the foot, my odes must be in yards, for I've a poetess to keep and 7 little bards.
Very good. Well done. Not easy, that one. To earn my...
Really, you have poetess? It is the female poet,
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
Hmm.
Nowadays...
It exists.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's like conductor, conductress. Yeah. Postmaster, postmistress. But these gender... indicators are dying out. It's like actor or actor, actress, yeah, poet, poetess. Yeah, exactly, Moz. That S. Not just S, there are other words, but that's one of them that can make the female form.
May I ask you something? Is it a rule that a poem or a poem should always be sadly? I mean, there is always the longing for something.
Oh,
this guy is longing for food.
No, but generally, yes. It's like painters, are creative types tortured. Okay, so tortured. Creative people, artists, Van Gogh cut off his ear. There's something about the creative person, the one who wants to write, that will have a little bit of that to them, but it's not a requirement. I mean, look at the nonsense limericks, Edward Lear, and Shakespeare's sonnets. They could both be tragic, but also extremely funny and witty. So it's not a pre-requirement, but yes, you will find it dominates the genre. Okay?
I think so. It's more a kind of sadness.
It's almost a stereotype in a way, isn't it? The struggling poet, the struggling author, the struggling artist. Why all of you are so relaxing? Oh, why are you all relaxing here, or why are we relaxed? We're just tired, Aladdin. We've been streaming for hours. It's exhausting, I don't think I've ever streamed for so long. Okay. Okay, so the only
Lin,
Yep.
what does it mean? What does it mean to write by the foot?
Okay, well, basically, if you imagine when you write, not online, when you write on a piece of paper, okay, you have a length of paper, but if you get paid by the word, as poets often do, they get paid by the word, then you want to use a lot of paper. So it means I'm having to, in order to be paid, I have to write yard upon yard upon yard. I get paid per length of poem. I don't get paid for the quality of the poem. I get paid for the length of the poem. Okay? Does that make sense, April?
The foot. So as long as the length of my foot.
Yeah, foot.
Yeah, not the literary, not literary.
No, a foot is remember feet and inches. Feet and inches. A foot is
30
a measurement.
centimeter.
Yeah.
30 centimeter. Yeah.
Yeah, something like. Don't ask me.
It is 30 centimeter.
30.48. Come on. Yeah, 1 foot is 30.48 centimetres. So it's about the measurement and how much he gets paid. Okay?
Okay, I didn't know this.
Now, he's making a joke. Okay? Normally, writers get paid by the word or by the page. Okay? But he's making a joke. I have to write by the foot. And my odes, another kind of poem, but longer, an ode is generally quite a long poem, must be in yards, another measurement, a yard. How many feet in a yard?
$30?
No, 3.
No,
3 feet in a yard.
50.
How many how many centimetres in a yard then? If there's 3 feet in a yard, how many centimetres?
90 centimeters.
91.44. You started it.
94.
Okay.
Thank you, Google. Thank you, Google. You're making me look clever. I love having 2 screens, you know. I can do all sorts of searching. But yeah, so they're just measurements. Feet, inches, yards, pre-decimalisation measurements. Still in use today because we haven't really gone metric completely in the UK. We still like our pints. We still like miles, you know, so it's all a bit mixed up in the UK. Okay? It's a math class
And
today, Shiny, you're right. For me.
And Bartslin, is that also poet? Another word for
Yes,
poet?
the bards. A
Okay.
bard was in the olden days again, sort of before Shakespeare, and in Shakespeare's often called the bard. Yeah, and they were almost the newspapers of the day. Okay, they would travel and they would basically tell stories in poetic form, so that people would read. Poetry is a great mnemonic. It helps you to remember things. I can remember poems and songs about things that I can't remember in a sort of factual way. Okay?
I think the poet couldn't think others than bards and poetess, because I think the poetess is his wife, and the little, because there is little bards.
Do you know
his children, maybe.
Yes, they're his children. The poetess is his wife, and the little bards are his children. He's got 7 kids. My goodness, no wonder he has to write a lot. Got to feed them all. And earn my daily bread. Does everybody know what to earn his daily? Oh, which brings me to bread, April. Bread, well done. And you got it because it's a poem, and so you knew it didn't rhyme with dead when you said it first. So not to be confused with beard. Bread, beard. Okay. So April, what does he mean by to earn his daily bread?
We say that also. You have to earn something to live.
To eat, just to eat, the basics.
To eat, to eat. Yeah.
To earn a crust, we sometimes say. To earn a crust. That's it. To get the money, but not just daily money. It's just the money you need to just to be able to survive. Not money you can go on holiday with. Not money you can buy presents with. Just money that you need to survive. To earn a crust, we sometimes say. The old "will work for food." Any questions before we move on? Okay, Shiny, are you ready to read?
Yes.
Yes, good, good, good. Okay, here's your text, Shiny.
I grasped his hand and said, "Don't let your troubles get you down." He said I was a friend indeed, and borrowed half a crown. I left him in the dusty street, and left my thoughts half turned until his scribe, this peaceful scribe, who for romance had earned.
Yearned. Well done. Yeah, yearned. To yearn for something. Yeah. Yeah, oft. But it's also short, a sort of old-fashioned word in English as well. A sort of word you might use in a poem. Oft. Yeah, exactly. Often. Wouldn't it be easier if you could just say oft still? But it would make you sound a little old-fashioned. So the other word for you is grasped or grasped his hand. Shiny. Grasped or grasped, I'd accept. Try it. Grasped.
Grasped.
That's it. Good. And yearned.
Yearned.
Okay, what does it mean, don't let your troubles get you down? Something gets you down.
It makes you feel bad or
Yes, yeah.
as
It really
how?
got me down. Oh, the news always gets me down. Yeah. Just makes you feel sad. Okay. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it affect you in that way. Okay. Now he
That's the Beatles,
said.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the Beatles? Don't let me down.
Yeah.
Is that not Beatles?
I think that's about "Don't Bring Me Down," which is pretty
Get
much
Me
the same
Down.
thing. Yeah.
let me down. Another
Let Me Down is not. So there's "Don't Bring Me Down," which is ELO.
they're not the same.
I think April's talking about ELO. "Don't Bring Me Down."
Yellow? What yellow?
And "Don't Let Me Down" means "Don't disappoint me." Okay. So somebody were to say to me, "I've got an English test tomorrow." Oh, "Don't let me down." Okay. Haladin's gone off adventuring. It's not prohibited love, no, Shiny. What made you think it might be prohibited love, Shiny?
Because it doesn't mention in this point is a girl or a boy. If it was a boy, then
Okay, the implication is the poet is masculine, but no, the writer doesn't really say whether it's a female or male. But he does say the day's my friend, so I would read into that it's another man. Okay. And the fact that this went into an army newspaper, an army magazine, I would say. Ah, yes! Has April actually mentioned this, by the way, Monique? Has she even noticed that you're wearing a new outfit?
I was really worried about April's opinion, so I had to do something.
Sorry, what is called a paragraph in a poem? A verse? A verse. No, a verse is a line.
No, a verse is a whole paragraph. That's a verse. A line is a line in the verse. Okay. So a verse would be
Storsa or something like
stanza.
that. Storsa.
Stanza. Yeah, stanza. Yeah.
We have learned that a verse in a poem is a line, and a paragraph, I say it in German, ist eine Strophe.
Okay, we have a stanza which is the same as a verse, and a line is a line within the verse, just like a sentence. Okay. Some people are very strict about stanza, and they say it has to be 4 lines. But I would say a verse because it's a bit more modern. But that's what I think you're thinking of. Okay.
A limerick is strict, or most of the time created by 5 lines, by 5.
That's right. With a specific,
yes,
with a very specific rhythm. I keep doing the Tigger song. I can't believe it. The A-A-B-B-A. Yeah. That's the one. There was an old man of Kentucky who I don't know. I can't remember them. Okay. Maybe we'll have to do a session on poems and the different types of poems. Okay, so he's earned his daily bread. He said I was a friend indeed and borrowed half a crown. Anybody any idea what did he borrow? Half a crown. What is it? Half a crown. Something you put on your head?
Is it a money?
Money?
Yes, old money. Old money. Before decimalisation, we had a crown, and which was 5 shillings, I think, was a crown. So half a crown would have been 2 and 6, 2 shillings 6pence, I think. And then, so in today's money, 10p is a shilling, so it'd be like 25p probably, 25p in today's money. But it was quite a lot of money back then, you know, in those days, borrowing half a crown. Now, he said I was a friend indeed. This is a bit of a play on words. Do you know the saying about a friend indeed? There's a special saying.
Friend indeed is a friend in need.
Yeah, it's the other way round. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Oh.
It means that basically when a friend needs something, they'll be your best friend.
And he said we are still talking about his friend in the second paragraph, where the chivalry, or how was it called, the name? I have to scroll up a bit.
Chivalry?
Chivalry, yes.
Chivalry.
we are talking about his friend who was a chivalry.
Who was trying to find chivalry again, yes. And if you notice, he calls him a scribe. So we've got three. We've got poet. We've got bard. Yeah, that's it. And we've got scribe, which can also, by the way, be a verb. Okay, but a scribe is somebody who, in old days, they would copy books. Okay, so you'd have, often working in monasteries, they would make copies of books. They'd be a scribe. But nowadays, anybody who makes their living from writing can call themselves a scribe. A journalist, a writer, novelist, an author, they could all be called a scribe. And to scribe just means either to do the copying work or just to write something down. Yeah? Not something I'd use in everyday English. Let me scribe that. I'd just say, let me write that down. But be aware, it is also a verb and a noun. Okay, how are we doing for time? I'm keeping an eye on the time this week, as I've been very pushed today. And it's made me make some silly mistakes. Oh dear. Oh dear. But thank you so much, Aladdin, by the way. You did really try to tell me. I do appreciate your efforts, even though I wasn't actually there. Okay, now I'm not sure if Moz, are you able to speak?
Crave is a synonym of yearned, Lynn?
Sorry, what word?
Hello.
Crave, yearn. Crave is more of a physical thing. If I crave chocolate, I want to eat chocolate. If you yearn, it's more a mental thing. I yearned for his touch, that kind of thing. Crave is more a little greedy, actually. There's a slightly different connotation to crave something. Okay. So you could use them as a synonym, but I'd keep them separate because crave is really forceful almost, if you like. Yeah. Whereas yearn is more a gentler feeling. It's a longing to yearn for something. Yeah, I crave chocolate. Not I crave what? There's some by Monique, Shiny. There's a whole box. Don't let her eat them all. Otherwise she won't fit into that nice dress anymore. You could say I have a craving for chocolate, but I crave chocolate. I crave gummy bears. But to yearn, there's slightly something a bit more romantic about yearning, April, than craving. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Moz, I think I heard your dulcet tones. Would you like to read the next verse? Moz? Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Lovely.
I checked the tick and it didn't work, so I was still holding this icon. Okay. Upon the sands of Sinai, I met again the bird who wrote others were by the yard. I paused and passed the time of day, as was his mind at rest. Now he had traveled north and south, had traveled east and west.
Very good. Just the one word. We say Sinai. Sinai.
Sinai.
Sinai.
Yeah.
Sinai. Sinai.
Oh, it's working. I can talk without clicking. Okay.
Yay! Well done.
I don't know what I did.
I don't know what you did either, but
Okay.
if it works, don't question it. It's working. That's the main thing. So yeah, just
Okay.
Sinai. Okay.
Sinai.
And well done for getting paused and passed. Well done. I was waiting for that to be a trick. That's a bit of a tricky line, that. I paused and passed the time of day. Do you know what it means to pass the time of day? Again, another little phrasal verb for April's collection. To pass the time of day.
Don't know this.
You probably
let
do
pass.
it every day. Monique, yep.
Just to let pass time. I mean, I don't know how to explain.
No, you have to do something specific to pass the time of day. In fact, it takes two people to pass the time of day. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to go up to Moz. Hi, Moz. Lovely to see you. How are you?
Fine.
Good. Anyway, I must be going. I've got another session in a bit, so bye. Okay, I just passed the time of day with him. That's it. It's that easy.
Okay. Just
Okay.
holding a conversation.
It's a very brief conversation, a sort of hi, how are you, bye, kind of. Okay, it just means to basically casual meeting, a casual meeting. Yeah, that's it, Shiny, exactly, a greeting, a meeting, just a hi, how are you, bye, just little, oh, how's it going? Fine, thanks, bye. Oh, April, Aladdin, have you got the mic? Can you actually speak, Aladdin? Or are you working?
Yeah?
Yay!
No, I'm not working today.
Is that Sinai? Well, no, I didn't think you would be, but you've been so quiet.
Yeah, it's another pronunciation here. It's
Ah, okay, good. Well, how do you say it then?
Tina.
Sina. Okay. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know why we say Sinai,
Or
but
Sina.
we do. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things.
Hmm.
But it probably should be Sina, but it's like Munich and Munchen. We don't say Munchen, we say Munich. We've even changed the letters around. So at least we kept the spelling here.
This is our pronunciation, Tina, but it's just Sinai is. I think it's the English one.
It is English pronunciation, I'm
Yeah.
afraid. Yeah, you know what we're like. Traum, when you say you were kicked out, what do you mean? I didn't kick you out. Wasn't me.
No, I wasn't. Maybe I was. I have been kicked out by the system here.
Oh.
I lost those
Did you get a
voice and then
message?
yes, it was. Yes, I got a message, and then it followed. Everything was held in grey here, and then I was off.
Oh.
I was off.
I don't know why. Wasn't me. It might be because you hadn't moved for a while. That can sometimes happen, but it shouldn't matter because I haven't got any kind of timer on, or it just might be that your connection broke for a short amount of time. I think everybody else was okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear any voice. And then I waited because I thought it will come back, but it didn't, and so I was kicked out by the system. And now I reload. Hello?
Hello, yes, sorry, I've got Hanny, who was in World yesterday. Monique met Hanny yesterday. She crashed, Monique. She's just sent me... just sent me, I'm sorry I crashed yesterday. It happens sometimes, so there you go. Okay, so look, we've run out of time. We'll finish the poem next week, if that's okay.
Next week is no session. I
No,
think,
there's no
no?
session next week. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. And it'll be too late after that because it won't be Valentine's Day anymore. Okay, I'll finish the poem for you very quickly, but I haven't got time to do corrections. Okay. I asked him, did he find romance was born again? He sighed. I've never found romance at all, though everything I've tried. It's hard to think of chivalry, the different jobs I've had. I long now for the city streets in town, I'd ne'er be sad. I've been a cook, an army cook, I've been a mess orderly too. It's hard to find romantic things when juggling army stew. I seek no more the open road, no more I wish to trail the roads throughout the Orient, give me the iron rail. I long no more for chivalry, it has been too long dead. I'd rather be in Sydney town and write to get my bread. I'm tired of living in this land where lived the chosen tribes. I'd rather have my poetess and 7 little scribes. Okay, so I'll give you the link so that you can read it in your own time. Okay. You're welcome. And it's a lovely little poem, and it's quite tongue-in-cheek. It's quite humorous, yeah?
Can anybody of you see the name of the poet?
No,
I
a
can't.
pseudonym. He didn't want to be known. Maybe the other soldiers would have laughed at him for writing poetry. You big sissy.
It is somebody from Cairo. Aladdin, you know him, maybe.
Maybe. Or just somebody who was there.
Do you know how's the
The
population?
writer of this poem is from Cairo.
You know everybody, Aladdin. It's
Do
like
you know how's the
when you meet
population
somebody
in Cairo,
from
not in
Australia.
all Asia?
Hey, I've got to go. I'll be in TGIF in 20 minutes. Okay, take care. Bye. You guys hang out, carry on chatting. Bye. See you next week if I don't see you in TGIF. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye, Lynn.
Ah, dear. It's under Creative Commons, and it says it's from somebody. It was written in Cairo by somebody calling themselves 22 for the magazine for the Anzacs in the Middle East, which basically means it was a magazine for troops, Anzac troops. Okay, quite often the army, different branches of the forces, the armed forces, would have their own little newspapers and their own little magazines. Okay, and this is a poem that a soldier who wanted to be known as 22, I don't know why, but wrote for this particular magazine. Okay.
Okay.
And it's called The Age of Chivalry. So, let me see who came in first. I think the first person to arrive was Traum. So I'll just do the reading list. But you're all okay with this concept, the term Age of Chivalry, yes? Good. And yes, it's kind of difficult because you think, oh, is it dead? The Age of Chivalry, is it dead? Okay, so Traum, would you like to start reading the first verse, okay?
Yeah, it's okay, okay. The poet mocked his padded brow and waved an inky hand. I long, he said, to leave the town and wander through the land. I am tired of crowded city streets. I would I were a brave, okay, and hardy old adventurer. The open road I crave.
Very good.
Sorry about my mistake. Between brave and do I have a line? It's empty. Brave, and then it comes the next line. So yep. I was a bit confused.
So basically, remember this is a poem, yeah? So what the writer is actually saying is this: I would I were a brave and hardy old adventurer. Yeah? But the rhythm forces you to say, I would I were a brave and hardy old adventurer, the open road I crave, because of the rhythm.
No, it's not a limerick. A limerick, sorry. Limerick.
It's not really a limerick. Limericks are specifically. Actually, I think that sounds more like a Tigger song. There was an old lady. I don't know. There was an old man from somewhere who with a something. So it's more. This. All poetry, especially rhyming poetry, has a rhythm, and this rhythm you could, by just looking at the words without reading them, you could think the poet. So that's da 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 mopped his heated brow. Da 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 da. You can do that with any poem, should you wish to.
That was clear.
Well,
fair enough.
If you, in other words, Lynn, stop now. But if you listen to my da-da-da-das and you know your syllables, you'd be able to follow the poem. You'd know exactly where I was up to. Okay? And when you're writing poetry, not all poetry, not all prose has a regular rhythm, but this one does. Okay? Okay, so let's have a look. First of all, it's poetry. So, who writes poetry? A poet. A poet wrote this. Poet. Try it. Traum?
A poet.
Poet.
A
That's
poet.
it. Good. And then he's in a hot land, so his brow is heated.
Aha. It has to do with heat.
Yes.
Hot.
As in
Uh-huh.
his forehead, his brow was hot. He'd got you know what it's like when it's really hot in the summer and you put your hand to your forehead and you think, oh, it's too hot.
And what does mean the mopped and inky?
Okay, he mopped his heated brow. He maybe had a handkerchief and he was wiping the sweat off his forehead. Okay, I don't know about you, but when I'm very hot, I sweat. So this poor guy is sweating and trying to keep the sweat from running into his eyes, maybe. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I see the movement. Mopping.
Yes, to mop a floor. Yes. When you've spilt water on the floor, if you remember when we were having our session on the dangers around the house, slippery floor, you have to mop it up, but you can mop any liquid. Quite often that's in Kitely. Do say to me, Lynn, stop screaming, stop streaming. But the interesting thing was it streams, Skype streams, and it streams fine. Oh, April's getting her messages and her prize. I hope she hasn't already got the prize, but she's just logged in. She won the prize for telling me who created or who built the Citadel, this sim, because there are some clues.
There was a prize, people?
There was a prize, yeah. I did say last
hear.
week there was a prize, yes. But she sent it to me and I said, okay, that's it, you win the prize. It's only a...
No, I didn't hear that part.
It's only... Oh, sorry. So let's see if they can find their way to us. Probably April's going, what's all this? What's all this? It's only a freebie prize. It's nothing, I mean, it's a prize. It's a prize. But I don't think she'll have it already. She might have. Hello, April. Did you get your prize?
I've just seen it.
Yay! Monique's a bit peeved because she didn't realise there was a prize.
Hey.
No, maybe I didn't. Actually, I think that I didn't hear the question or the no, maybe I wasn't here.
You can never
No, you were here.
win from
I'm sure you were
me.
here. Monique was here
No.
last week, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
you were
But I have to. Yeah, but I have to leave.
Oh,
I
you
had
can
to
always
leave,
you can always watch the replay. See if you missed
Yeah.
anything, or if we talked about you
Interesting.
when you'd gone. Hi, Shiny. Shiny's come to shine. Hello, Shiny. How are you? So I better just make
I
sure
like
nobody
Shiny's
else
dress.
is online. Selby won't want to join us. That's fine. I'm just going to go to my just see who's in world. Go Shiny, April, Monique, Traum. Good. Nobody's lost in the academy. That's good to know. Okay, I've got a little poem for us to read today, believe it or not, which is fun, I think. Okay, and it's licensed Creative Commons. And it's kind of related to Valentine's Day a little bit. Oh, my notepad's gone all weird since this morning's session. I used it to...
So now you have to make a close up on me.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh.
Hang on. I'm in the wrong window. Let's have a look. Oh, very nice. Ah, lovely, with the earrings too. And the bracelet. Oh, it matches your outfit beautifully. Yay!
Yes. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome. So, Shiny, can you hear us? And can we hear you? Excellent. Good, good, good. Can we hear you? Oh, Tram, spring is not around. It is so cold here. It's freezing. You can't say spring's around. Sorry, I think I interrupted you, Shiny. Do you want to just say something again, quickly?
Hi.
Hi. Good, I can hear you. Excellent. Now, just to recap, last week we read a little bit about chivalry, yeah, and the age of chivalry, yes? So I went scooting off to try and find something that we could read about the age of chivalry that wasn't too heavy this week. And I found this poem. So if you're all okay with it, we can read the poem together. It's called The Age of Chivalry,